Hi everyone, Heidi here from Flutter by Heidi. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator based in the United Kingdom, and today we're talking Lovely You and the gorgeous Flowers for Every Season designer series paper, along with the frosted and clear epoxy droplets, which, here we go, we have frosted and clear. There we go. There's your clear, here's the frosted. And I'm using these to create this sweet little box. Haven't done a Ferrero for Heidi in quite a while, so thought it was time to revisit. And you'll see this little box here. It's a little slider box, and then you open it up, and there's your two little boxes for your Ferrero or other treats. And then you just fold it back up and slide it in, and it would be great for maybe a necklace and earring set as well, but a lovely way to showcase this designer series paper. And it's so pretty, and you'll see I've just used the flowers as well just to decorate the sides. And that comes from this super stamp set, Lovely You. So in here we've got some fabulous fonts, so a lovely scripty font and some typeface, with some really nice, just kind of fun sentiments for you to use, and these lovely floral images at the bottom, which we've got as well. Oh, my light's just gone out. Okay, battery must have gone flat. Hopefully everything is going okay. It's one of those days. And then the clear and epoxy droplets are two sizes, in a sheet of each clear and a sheet of the frosted, and there's a lovely sparkle on those, and they just add just a little bit to the design of your paper, to the design of your project. And this is the paper we're using, so it's Flowers for Every Season, and it's based around the in colours. So you can see we've got Just Jade and Bumblebee and Cinnamon Cider, Misty Moonlight on the back, and on the front side there's some quite big bold floral images, and on the back there are more muted ones as well. So some super sunflower patterns on both sides of that one. Big Magenta Madness roses and some Bumblebee. This one's a pretty one. It's got a bit of Misty Moonlight in, a bit of all of the colours there. Just Jade as well. Lovely yellow sort of tea roses on the reverse. Magenta Madness and Just Jade. I love this one. This sort of Just Jade foliage image on the reverse. And this is a really pretty paper too. This yellow, it almost reminds me of California poppies. And here you go. Here's another one. Again, Just Jade and Bumblebee, some big floral images on the reverse. Really spring-like with the daffodils, or not even daffodils, with the tulips on that. And a solid Just Jade, you could use that for anything. This is the one I love, Misty Moonlight instead of blue and white, and that's what I'm going to use for the second sample. And on the reverse, sort of foliage Christmas, poinsettias, stripes, and that's the one I used originally, which has got Just Jade. So a real assortment of papers there, and sort of something for everybody really. It's sort of grown on me. I'm still not overly keen on the massive big flowers, but there's so much in there that is useful. These are a cling mount stamp set, as you can see, proper red rubber, so you get a lovely stamped image as well. You are going to need a sheet of A4 plus a couple of scraps of A4 Whisper White. So you want to cut two pieces which are 18.5 by 14. You want a strip of Misty Moonlight for your wrap, which is 7 by 23.5. Two pieces of DSP, 6.5 by 6.5. A scrap of Whisper White, which is 6.8 by 6.8. You want to punch yourself a lovely label in Misty Moonlight, and you want one in Whisper White as well, which I seem to have not managed to do. That's fortunately, that is one that is very easily remedied. I should just grab a piece of card here, and so I've used the Label Me Lovely punch, and I'm just trimmed that down to create that smaller size. So nice Label Me Lovely, and then 4 squares of the Misty Moonlight, and these are just 3.3 by 3.3, 4 of those. Okay, so I've already done one of my pieces of card, so I'm going to just do the second one. So you're going to make 2 of these exactly the same. So you are going to score at, I'll leave my extender arm out. Well, the other thing you'll need is a circle punch as well, about an inch one, thereabouts. Okay, so you're going to score on the long edge at 3.5, 7, 10.5, 14 and 17.5, and then you're going to score on the short edge at 3.5 on both sides, like so. Now once you've done that, we're going to fold and reinforce our creases apart from one end. So starting at the short end, the one with the little score line, we would do the first little one and you do all except the last one. Just keeps that a little bit flatter. Reinforce our two sides, and then we're going to do some trimming. So trim out, we are going to trim away the little narrow square at one end and the big square at the other end on both sides. So just going to come in with those. Okay. Then as you come along, the first one, by the narrow one, you're going to just trim that down about 1 centimetre away from that middle score, and that's going to in effect create another little flap for you to tie in, tuck in even. So you can just angle those, all four on the front edge as well, and on those two sides. Okay, so that's our one end with the narrow score line. The next one, I'm just going to come about halfway down, like so, and then cut straight down this both sides of this middle square. And this is just to reduce the bulk. Because the box isn't going to carry anything massively heavy, you don't need lots of bulk in there, and just trim those away again, just to neaten it up when we fold our creases, just notch it slightly. Then you're going to do the same on this one. So around about halfway, like so, halfway or thereabouts, and notch. Okay, so you'll end up with a piece that looks like this. Now we're going to add some tape, and they're just going to add those to these 4 little tabs that we've created, so it just makes it easier to identify where we're putting our glue. Now at this point you could put the flowers on. I tend not to because I end up betting them upside down or roundabout, and I haven't stamped them anyway yet. So once you've got this, the last little bit is to take your punch. So I'm using a 3/4 inch punch, and I'm just eyeballing around about the middle and just coming in. That creates a little tab for you to lift it up. So make your box up. So just fold that till it's aligned with the side. So by keeping that centre one nice and square, then you've got a nice straight line to line it up with. Like so. Just give it a squeeze on the inside. Okay. And there we have it. And that's now ready for us to pop our treats in. And in fact, guess what? A couple of Lindor balls happen to have fallen onto my desk. So let's pop those in there as well. So now we're going to attach these 2 boxes together. Because when you open these up, this flap, these are attached. Okay. So to do that, it doesn't matter which one, but just choose one of them, and you can now fold that piece. Okay, and you're going to glue that to that one. So for this, you can use some tape, or you can use some wet glue. I'm just going to use some quick grab wet glue on there, and I'm just going to line it up like so. So it's quite easy, and obviously having your chocolates already in there, or your treats in there, in this instance it gets a little bit more substance. I'm just lining those up, and just check those then fold. Okay, so we can pop that to one side. Now what we're going to do is actually, while that's drying, I'm going to do some stamping. So take your 4 pieces of card, which hopefully are nice and square. I'm not sure. Oh, I think one's a little bit squiffy. Downside of using small pieces. Okay, and I'm using my Night of Navy because I haven't got my Misty Moonlight yet, but it does go really well. And I'm just going to stamp the flower from the Lovely You stamp set on each of those, just like that, just at a slight angle. Okay, and that's my dog coming in to see what I'm up to. Pop those to one side, and I'm going to trim my label down before I stamp it. So I'm just trimming those outer 2 sections from there. Okay, and I'm going to take my one like so. Okay, so those are ready to go on. I've just taken I've kept the same Let's Cheer You Up, and I'm just popping that to the right hand side of my label, and that then leaves me plenty of space to come in with my flower again and just nestle that around our pretty label. Sorry, the Label Me Lovely punch. Right, okay, so now that I've done that, I'm going to come in with a bit of glue. I've just got a bit of fuse here, and I just layer that straight on the top. Using my fingernail there just to help line it up, and pop a couple of dimensionals onto the back, or as I've got here, a dimensional and a scrap. While I've got my glue, I'm going to do 2 things. One of these is going to go on the top of the box, so the one that I haven't folded. Again, you can just come in with a bit of Tombow, a bit of wet glue. And just remember with Tombow, you're kind of scribbling with it. You don't want sort of big globs. So if you get any, just sort of drag the point through it and then pop that piece onto the top of that panel there. Just centre that. And then again, add this panel onto the centre of our Whisper White for the front. And that's going to go on there. So just a little narrow little border, like so. And then on each of the 4 blocks, we're going to add one of our little squares. And this is where liquid glue comes into its own, because you can just manoeuvre that square, probably easiest if I glued them all together, until it's reasonably square. Now you could, if you wanted, if you're short, not so sure about your measurements, you could always use a slightly smaller dimension, so you could go for a 3 by 3 if you wanted to. I just rather like that little narrow border. But I say it does mean you've got to get your kind of box a little bit square as well. Okay. And I'm just making sure that I've put those upright with the front. Oh yes, I have. Okay, so now to create our wrap. So here's our panel. Our piece of card is, as I said before, it's 7 by 23 centimetres. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sort of pop that to one edge, and I'm just going to gently ease that along there, and then I'm going to hold it and then push, and that way that should be a nice fit on the edge of our box, but not too tight. So I'm going to do the same again, find a corner, and I'm lining up my side edges again, double checking all the time that that's not too tight, so not pulling it tight, just finding one corner and lining up against the far side. Now if you wanted to, having found that edge, you could pop that through your scorer if you wanted to. And then on the last one, I'm going to come in just over the top of that. And that means, again, it's going to have space when that glues underneath. And all I'm going to do now is just add a quick bit of fuse on there. And again, making sure it's nicely lined up, not too tight. So there's our box. It's just ready for me to pop on that top layer. And then add our label to the top. Then all I can need to do is just add our embellishments. So there we go. Let's cheer you up. And I'm going to add on some of our pretty sparkly clear droplets. So they come in 2 sizes, so you can just choose which of the sizes you really want. I've just put a large one and 2 smaller ones. And there we have a pair of Misty Moonlight for Ferrero fold out boxes, which I hope you love. Thank you for watching. Do come back and see me again soon. And as always, I'd love it if you shopped with me. So just pop along to my blog, flutterbyheidi.co.uk, and you can follow the links on there, or heidismith.stampinup.net, and click on the menu and you'll find a shop button on there. Thank you so much for watching me, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye now.